How's it going, everybody? Austin from Otter Aquatics. Today we're at Phil Foster Memorial Park in order to show you guys our guide to diving Blue Heron Bridge, one of South Florida's most famous dive sites and shore dives. This video is going to give you everything you need to know: where the dive site's located, how to get here, when to get here, what to bring, what you're going to see, everything you need to know to successfully dive Blue Heron Bridge. Stay tuned. The most important thing when it comes to diving Blue Heron Bridge is diving at the correct tide. Blue Heron Bridge is really only diveable during slack tide. Slack tide occurs an hour before and an hour after high tide. So that gives you a good 2-hour window to accomplish this dive. The second thing that you need to worry about when diving Blue Heron Bridge is the parking situation. It's a public park. There's only so many spots. It's free parking. People kayak, barbecue, they do tons of things here. So the parking can fill up real quick. If you're coming on a weekend, you're best to come out at least 2 hours before slack tide in order to secure your spot, prep your gear, and get ready. As far as what gear you're going to need in order to dive Blue Heron, the main things would be scuba diving gear of your own. Obviously, most people don't have weights or a scuba diving tank, so you can get that at a variety of dive shops that are in the area. Today I got mine at Force E Scuba Diving, but there's tons. You can get it at whatever dive shop, or if you own your own tanks, bring it here. So you'll need scuba gear, you'll need a scuba diving tank, as well as some weights. If you don't have those of your own, get those from a dive shop. And most importantly, a dive flag. It is required to have a dive flag here. You can find another group here that has a dive flag of their own and just go with them if you wanted to do it that way. There's always going to be tons of divers here. So that's what you need to dive Blue Heron Bridge. Alright, so once you've secured your parking spot, it is time to start setting up your gear. A lot of people have big SUVs like I do. You will see some trucks, you will see some vans, a little bit of everything where people are bringing their scuba gear and unloading. And they have these picnic benches behind me here where people are going to be setting up their gear. This is all to prepare for when slack tide hits, to be as ready as possible. Alright guys, so here's a map of the Blue Heron Bridge. You're going to come on from East Blue Heron Boulevard into here. If you have a boat for a boat launch, then this entire parking lot is going to be for you. Otherwise, you have this entire area. If you don't get here early to secure one of these, you're going to be walking from all the way over here with your gear to the staging entry area here, which isn't the end of the world, but obviously wants to be avoided. Right here is where you saw me filming. This is where you're going to enter the water. They have some buoys right here and some pylons right here. And this entire area is the rock trail and reef trail that you are going to see the most sights. The East Bridge is going to have a couple wrecks for you to see, and this is really probably one of the better parts of the dive to go to, is this area here. There is some stuff to see on this side, but it's probably not as exciting as the east side. So this is a map of Blue Heron Bridge. I'm sure you guys want to see the Blue Heron Bridge dive site. I'm sure you guys want to see what it actually looked like when you're in the water, and that is what I'm going to show you next. that I want to cover about diving Blue Heron Bridge are the safety concerns, or things to think about when you're diving. The first one that comes to mind is obviously diving at the correct time. The current can get very, very strong here if you're not diving during slack tide, and it can be very easy to be swept away by the current. There are lifeguards on duty, but you don't want to be that guy. So make sure you're diving at the correct time in order for it to be a safe dive. The second thing that comes to mind is entanglement. Fishing is allowed off of the bridge, so there will be fishermen there, and if you get hooked, I know plenty of people tap into, you can become entangled. So you'll want to have a dive knife handy to cut yourself free. The last thing that comes to mind when it comes to safety of diving Blue Heron Bridge is going to be carrying a dive flag and staying out of the way of the boats. It's mandatory to dive Blue Heron Bridge with a dive flag. You can go with a group that has one or rent one if you're out by yourself, but you must carry a dive flag. Other divers know, let boats know where you're at, and there's a certain marked off area where boat traffic is going to be coming through, and stay out of that area. I can't stress that enough. Be wary of boat traffic. Alright guys, that's all we've got today on Blue Heron Bridge scuba diving. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Happy to help. If you guys are in South Florida and want to join me at Blue Heron Bridge one day, please let me know. But other than that, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.